Good evening. Hi there. I hope y'all are doing well. Many of you at home, most of you, I'm sure, at home, maybe for the second week now. I know I have been adjusting, making major adjustments. I wanted to come on and just talk about being resilient when life doesn't go as planned. I've certainly felt that in my life and having to use the same resilience skills that I teach. And so I want to share these 5 commitments. Some of you, if you're familiar with my work, may remember me talking about this before, but I think it's really relevant right now. So I'm going to wait for a few of you to get on. I'd love to hear where you are right now and how you are doing. I've been praying for you, praying that you are healthy and that you stay healthy, that your loved ones stay healthy right now, and that you have peace, 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 peace. I just want to say peace a lot of times because it's easy for us if we are watching too much of the news and letting our thoughts spiral out of control. It can be easy to have some anxiety during these times. So I've just been praying that you have peace and that you know that all things will work together for good. I can't explain how. I don't have to explain how, but I believe it. So I wanted to come on and share a little bit about resilience and share a little bit about my story right now in the midst of this, because I know we all have a story right now. All of us have been impacted, and we all have to be resilient, and we can be. It's not always easy. So hey there, Karen in St. Cloud, Florida. Trinity, I see you. Crystal, good evening. Hi, Kim. I'd love to know where y'all are tonight. And yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for the blessings. Rianne, good to see you. Oh, it's a hard road to walk when your plans don't go as you wish. That is so very true. You know, years ago, it's been over a decade now. Praise God, it's been over a decade now when I wrote a book called Where Will You Go From Here? Moving Forward When Life Doesn't Go as Planned. And I wrote that book after going through divorce and just being at a point in my life when I was scared and I didn't know what my future was going to look like. I even doubted whether or not I should keep writing and speaking. And God spoke to me on that, let me tell you. He said, if you'll learn from this and you'll be transparent and share about it, you will do more good than you've ever done in the past with your writing and your speaking. Because the things that we go through that are hard, those are the moments that really build our character. Those are the moments when we need to look for the message that God is sending us. And there's always a message, y'all. There is always a message. But when we get too focused on the problem, we don't look for the message. And so tonight, I really want to encourage you to look for the message and to stop trying to figure everything out, to trust the process, but also be willing to pivot when you have to. So one of the things that came up for me when all of this began to unfold a few weeks ago, in my business, we started talking about, okay, we have a coach training intensive coming up April 4th through 6th. What if this starts to spiral out of control? At first we said, well, we'll just do it for those who come, because it wasn't what it is right now. And then we realized 2 weeks ago, we can't do it. I don't feel comfortable doing an event knowing that someone could get sick while traveling to it, could make others sick at the event. I just wanted everyone to be healthy and to be safe. And so we decided, hey, we couldn't do our event in Atlanta like we were planning to. And that's a big decision. And I know many of you have things happening that you weren't expecting, things that have been canceled. You know, I've had 5 speaking engagements just in this period right now between last week and in mid-April that are not going to happen, at least not right now. You know, you can make lots of plans. And when those plans don't happen, especially in a situation like this, it can be confusing to understand why. Now, everything's not about us, so sometimes we can try to make something about us that isn't. Like, it can be much bigger than us. But we can trust that God is with us wherever we go. One of my favorite scriptures is in the first chapter of Joshua, verses 6 through 9. Be strong and of good courage, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. And it gets repeated 3 times. Be strong and very courageous. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and of good courage. And so I want to encourage you tonight to be strong and to have courage. And courage may look like being creative. Courage may look like simply accepting that it is what it is, that as hard as it is, it may mean accepting income decreases for now, not forever, for now. It may mean accepting inconveniences for now. It may mean accepting things that you just don't want to accept, but resisting just makes you more tired. It wears out your energy. And so what I want to know is, in the midst of this, are there things you could choose to do a little differently? Are there some ways you could look at things differently? So when I wrote Where Will You Go From Here, which came out 9 years ago, but still relevant, I want to share with you 5 commitments that I asked you to make, any reader of this book to make. This book was about, as you can see the subtitle, moving forward when life doesn't go as planned. And these were 5 commitments when I found my life not going as planned. And when I say as planned, you know, we all have it planned out what we're going to do. So I had planned, yes, I'll be married by 28. I wasn't, but at 30 I was. And that didn't really go along with my Cosby Show plan that I would have 5 kids. That had been my thought, and that I would be a lawyer. That had been my thought. But I knew that I wanted to be a mom. And when I found myself at 36 going through a divorce with no kids, life really wasn't going the way I planned. And I had a moment where I said, look, this can either make me bitter or I can choose for it to make me better. And I decided it was not going to make me bitter, that I was going to find a way to be better. And I'm wondering for you, as you go through whatever challenges are being presented to you because of this COVID-19 crisis, because of things that are canceled, because of job changes or job loss or having to work more. Those of you who are healthcare workers, transportation, first responders, thank you, because we know your life doesn't. So many people are like, oh, I'm bored. I'm not bored, but I'm not a first responder. I appreciate all of you that are out there on the front lines, and you know, you're worried about your own health right now. But all of us can choose to find the lesson in this. So here's what I said. If you want to be resilient when life doesn't go as planned, 5 commitments. Here's commitment number 1. I will not feel sorry for myself. I will not feel sorry for myself. This is a hard one because it can be very easy for us to look at our situation and start to feel sorry for ourselves, as though we are the only ones, as though something is being done to us, as opposed to this is something happening to the whole world and we're a part of that. I will not feel sorry for myself. So that means we're not throwing pity parties. That doesn't mean you can't mourn losses. That doesn't mean you can't cry. But at some point, you've got to decide, I will not feel sorry for myself. Commitment number 2, I will not stare at the closed door. Now, let me tell you, this one's hard because we can look back and say, oh, why didn't I do X, Y, or Z? I would have been in a better place or a better position to deal with this crisis had I, whatever that is, had I taken this job, not taken this job, had I bought this house, not bought this house, had I taken my money out of my, out of my 401k before the market went way down. I mean, whatever it happens to be for you, we can stare at the closed door when life doesn't go as planned, and we can say, what if I had done this? And we can think about the regrets, but it doesn't move us forward. So making a decision that you're not going to turn around and just stare at the closed door and talk about what could have been, what should have been, and let that play out and eat you up. But instead, that you will turn and face forward and say, I won't stare at the closed door. What I'm going to do is look at where I am right now and where I'm going. And although there is uncertainty, because I don't know how long this is all going to last, I know it won't last forever. So what could I be doing right now that prepares me on the other side of this crisis? Many of you have a lot of extra time. Many of you write me and tell me about businesses that you dream of having, or career changes you want to make, or improvements you want to your health, or new ways that you want to deal with your finances, or how you want to grow spiritually. Don't waste this extra time that you may have now, even if the extra time is just that you're not having to commute, for example. if that adds an hour or 2 hours to your day, if you were looking back a year from now, how will you wish you had spent that extra 5 to 10 hours a week? So just be really, really intentional about how you are using this time. Don't stare at the closed door. Look ahead. Look at your future self and say, what will my future self wish that my current self was doing? Okay? All right. My light went out. I bought this light, y'all. It was really good, but I'm not sure if I can get it to come on again. So I'll go with the light that I have. Okay. Commitment number 3. I will direct my thoughts. My thoughts will not direct me. Now, this is not the easiest thing to do, but we can't control the thoughts that come to us. All kinds of thoughts can come to us, but we make the decision about which thoughts we dwell on. So when your thoughts are producing anxiety, you've got to be intentional about saying, is this thought helping me or is it hurting me? And change the thought. I had terrible dreams last night. I was dreaming about the pandemic. I don't know if anybody's had dreams about the coronavirus. I was thinking about things going on in my business. I mean, all kinds of stuff that I could not control. And I woke up feeling anxious. And I said, okay, so if I feel anxious, what do I need to do? I always go to scripture, be anxious for nothing, but in all things through prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, make your requests made known unto God. So I said that to myself. And then I said a prayer. And I wasn't just praying for me. I started praying for other people. I started praying for this pandemic to slow down. And then I decided to just meditate, to just literally start breathing. Some of us don't do that enough. To literally feel the breath coming into my lungs and exhaling. Then I remembered, movement changes how you feel. So I started doing squats, and then I started doing jumping jacks. I was like, I need to get a little exercise. And within 5 minutes, I felt completely different. So we have to make that choice about how we direct our thoughts, and we have to use the tools that we have at our disposal. And I decided to use the tool of prayer and the tool of meditation and exercise, all of those things together. Sometimes we need more than one thing, and it changed everything. All right, 2 more, and I'm going to wrap up. So commitment number 4, I choose to believe things work together for good. Now that comes from Romans 8:28, and sometimes it's hard to see when it feels like bad things are happening, but we can choose to believe that something good can come from something bad. In fact, researchers have discovered something called post-traumatic growth. We've all heard of post-traumatic stress disorder. We often think of it in terms of soldiers who've gone off to war and seen and experienced horrible things, or even people who live in communities where maybe they've dealt with drive-by shootings, or somebody who's been held up at gunpoint can create post-traumatic stress disorder. But post-traumatic growth is when we go through something difficult, and on the other side of it, we say that somehow we were made better. When I got on the other side of my situation 10 years ago, I realized I was a more compassionate person. I felt other people's pain at a different level. And I think it made me more real. It made me more humble. And so how could you become better because of this crisis? Perhaps rather than thinking about your situation, you think about somebody who's in a worse situation and you make a decision to help them somehow. You start reaching out to neighbors. You start helping and thinking about others. So here's number 5. As my son comes in. Here's number 5. Very, very simple. Oh, wait, did I do 4 or 5? Hold on a second. Oh, I skipped 3. Sorry, y'all. I will dig deep to unearth all the courage I need. And all this means is you're going to feel fear, and in the face of fear, you need to choose courage. So I felt a lot of fear when I realized we were going to let our coach training intensive not happen. Alex, can you not play right now? Hold on just a second. I'll be done in a minute. And so I got with my team and I said, what should we do? And so what we decided to do was something I think is really exciting, and it fits where we all are right now. We are still having our coach training intensive, but we're taking our coach training intensive online, live and online, same dates, April 4th through the 6th. Y'all, hold on a second. Y'all, I'm sorry. This is second Facebook Live with Mommy Duty. I need you to hold on. I'll be done in a couple minutes. What do you need?
2 days. I have to go to Grandmommy's. Remember?
You go to Grandmommy's on Friday.
And on Tuesdays.
Okay, we'll talk to her about that as soon as I'm done, okay?
Okay.
All right. He went to Grandmommy's last Tuesday. He thinks he's going to Grandmommy's again this Tuesday, so we're going to talk about that. All right. So, courage. And so for me, it might not seem like a courageous thing to you, but when you promise something and then you decide to do something different, it takes courage to carry it out. And I'm wondering for you, where do you need to pivot? Where do you maybe need to do something a little bit differently than what you were planning, and that will enable you to be resilient? So that's it. I wanted to share those 5 commitments because we all need it right now. Commitment number 1, very simply, I will not feel sorry for myself. Commitment number 2, I will not stare at the closed door. You can't change what you did or didn't do 2 weeks ago, a month ago, or last year. It is what it is right now, okay? I will dig deep for all the courage I need. I will direct my thoughts. My thoughts will not direct me. And I choose to believe all things work together for good. I believe if we can come together as a country, I believe that if we can use this as a time to reset, and a lot of us are resetting, like we can't go at the pace we were going. What if you used it as a time to rest, as a time to get quiet, as a time to reconnect with the people who matter most to you? What if you did that? How would that change things for you? And how would things look on the other side of this crisis? So for me, I'm excited because I know that online training is where things are going even after this crisis is over. So being forced to do it sooner, it's a big challenge, but I'm really excited about it. All we're looking at is how can we be creative in making this fun and engaging for everybody who participates. So the Coach Training Intensive is on. We're doing it live and online with my 2 other trainers, LaFern Beatty, who is in Florida, and Kimberly DeBrule, who's up in Vermont. We've been training together with the Coach Training Intensive now for 8 years. I'm really excited about that. And of course, we've been doing the live certification training online for 9 years. So doing it online is not new, but doing it online for Coach Training Intensive is new. And somebody I see asked, the book, it's where will you go? Where will you go from here? Moving forward when life doesn't go as planned. Those 5 commitments I just shared are in here. And let me also tell you this. Amazon is not shipping books again until at least April 21st. So please support Barnes & Noble, support ChristianBook.com, support any local booksellers you know who are online because they need it. This is actually an opportunity for some of the retailers that get neglected because we're all on Amazon. So you can get the book, but go to bn.com or go to christianbook.com or whoever your favorite retailer is other than Amazon because they're only shipping not Christian books, children's books right now. So thanks for joining me. I hope this was helpful to you. I wanted to just kind of share how we are being resilient in this business and also share with you that we're moving our Coach Training Intensive online. You can actually go to capinstitute.com to register and join us, and that means you can join us for certification that starts this summer. Sometimes we just have to pivot, change, do things a little differently than we have, and just keep it moving. I hope you'll do that in your own life. So good to see you all. I'm going to get back to my family. The dog just walked in. I think my husband walked in, and it's raining now. So know that I'm praying for y'all. I'm praying you stay safe, you stay healthy, and most importantly, you connect with the people that matter and the people who need you. When we start focusing outward on others, it takes the focus off of us. It lowers our anxiety and it boosts our positive emotion, which in turn makes us more resilient. And that's what we have the opportunity to be right now, resilient, and we can do it. Love y'all. Have a good night.